was some peace of mind beside my pint, yeah. I can't do a thing without you running gums. Mr. Bus and Mr. Train, so guess I need a ride, yeah. London rinse me clean, I need a savings fund. No dinner date for my love, I'm down. I'll make it up to you when I can. Been in a day since our ultrasound. I heard my name before I was out. I could either be cleaning diners or be off or go tuck my diamonds. Make a choice, it's not hard to fight it. Hate a person that's filled with doubt in the papers.
Hey everyone, I'm Mackayla. Welcome to the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. We're going to jump right in with the two hardest questions of all. Who are you and what have you been up to recently?
My name is Ryder. I'm a music producer and an artist. What I've been up to recently? Recently, I dropped my second EP of the RYDERHOOD series. So I dropped RYDERHOOD 2. So yeah, just, when you drop something, you have to keep up with the promo, just all that stuff, yeah.
That's
Doing that stuff,
exciting.
yeah.
What did it feel like to finally put it out there?
I think as every artist knows, you have an idea and you have this perfect, every project you make or every track you make, it's almost like your baby. It's like a baby. And you have all these plans and ideas around your child, this thing you've created. And when it's out there, it's a bit scary because once it's out there, and you have this idea of how the music should be received. But as soon as it's out there, your subjective opinion now becomes this objective thing where everyone can have their own opinion, So it's interesting as much as it's a bit nerve-wracking to finally get music out. It's interesting to see how other people perceive your music,
How has it been perceived so far?
Great. I mean, everyone's had really good things to say about it. And I think I'm talking more so about you'll have your favorite track. You'll think, oh yeah, this track's the best, and then after that it's this track. But then as you find as a musician or any form of artist, most often your least favorite work is the best received, So that's the shocking part. The track, obviously I'm not going to say which track it was, but the track I thought was not bad, but somewhat of a filler track. Everyone's received that. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Why do you think that kind of track usually ends up being the favorite?
No idea. I don't think anyone can answer that question. But that's what I'm saying. It goes for music, painting, fashion, because you get wrapped up as artists. You become very wrapped up in your subjective opinion. As I said, it's your baby. So you have all these ideas and views on your own work, and oh, you like this track because of this and whatever. And then it comes out, even as a producer, you're sat there in a session playing beats for an artist, playing instrumentals for an artist, and you're skipping through, when you're in the hot seat and you're sat next to the artist and the artist, you're playing beats for them. You play the one you've been working on for 7 hours. Play that. No. It gets 10 seconds in. Nah, next one. Then you play another one you spend a day on, 2 days on, a week on. 10 seconds in. Nah, next one. And then you play the one that you just made at 3 a.m. It took you 5 minutes. And that's the one. That's the hit. It's funny. I don't know why it works like that. But yeah, that's my experience. Yeah.
I know it's such an interesting thing because, as you said, a lot of people feel that way. Yeah, it'd be fascinating to know why that is.
There's probably some reason, but
yeah,
I'm yet to figure it out.
It's easier to just accept that whatever song you like the least is going to be the most popular.
Yeah, for the most part. But I feel like if I assume that, and I said that this track out of 10 tracks is my least favorite, but it's going to do the most successful, it'd rearrange. I feel like rearrange. So the one I wasn't even thinking about, the one that's in the middle, then that would become the. It's weird, but yeah.
So when you kind of sit down to put that track list together, what did it look like for you?
I think in my personal opinion, I like to start off with, it's almost like a story arc. So you start off with somewhat smooth. I mean, in the instance of the EP I just dropped, I started off with a skit, so an intro skit. Then from an intro skit, it was straight into a track called Running Gums and Arts called Louis Culture. And that's, as soon as that comes in, it's like a rock rap sort of tune. So as soon as that comes in, you've got somewhat of a long intro, then it just comes in straight through the doors with that tune there. And then after that, you have, check track list here. I should know this. Cut this out of the interview because I should know this. Yeah, after that, then you have Take It Easy. So My Lady, with J6, that's much more of a soft track. So it goes from this bursting through the doors, rock tune, singing a love sort of Afrobeat love song. Then it goes into Gimme featuring JG, and that's like a rap. So that's a bit more intense. So it starts with a bang, goes to this soft love song, then it gets a little bit more intense. Then after that, there's another skit, Producer Problems, where I'm speaking with my friend Dripset and Nathan, they're two producers, about the typical arguments that go on when you're making a track or you're making a beat as two producers, where you've done the melody, you've done the chords, yada yada, whatever, and you're all going back and forth about who did what and who deserves what and all that nonsense. Then after that, it goes into Hot Rocks, which then that just builds it up. That builds it up all the way back up again. After that, you have Luke's interlude. So that's the kind of, it's like a talky shit kind of interlude. It's like a talky shit kind of interlude. Then after that, you got Mission Impossible. So that's just, yeah, once again, burst through the doors. And then it finishes off on Goodbye, featuring Figs, which is I'd say it's R&B, an R&B song. And obviously the title Goodbye is fitting for the outro. Yeah.
So you made it like a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Did you plan it specifically that way?
Yeah. I feel like in terms of the world we live in now and the way music's consumed, I think in order for someone to sit down and to take, even though the EP is only 16 minutes, which a lot of music is now, is only 2 minute, 1 minute, 2 minute songs, length songs. I feel like it has to be organized in a certain way to keep you engaged. You see, the same way that, I don't know, YouTube video has to have fast cuts at a certain part. It has to come in, or even like the TikTok videos, we have a hook. You have to have a hook first 3 seconds. If you don't get them in the first 3 seconds, then it's. So I feel like, you know, in terms of arrangement, you don't have the same freedom you might have done 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, where you can almost have. That's like, even like I said with filler tracks. For me, every single track on here, as much as certain ones there has to be some sort of filler track. None of them are really filler tracks. You know what I mean? All of them could be singles. That's the way I've approached it. So because of how much music is coming out and how quickly you lose focus of whatever you're listening to, I think the arrangement is very important in terms of just keeping someone engaged, you know?
Yeah. So how do you think most people today will listen from start to finish, or do you think most people shuffle?
I mean, it's interesting the way music's consumed now, because I mean, it's the way it's always been consumed, but people like to have a secret, find this secret artist they don't really know about. So in terms of wrapping people in, yeah, you have the single. Singles will get, that's what gets people in. Yeah. Then the vast majority of people shuffle. I think they'll just skim through first 10 seconds, 20 seconds, might skim through to see if there's a bridge. And then that's where they'll listen to, that's where they'll consume the music. And if there's something that tickles their fancy, then yeah, they'll save it. They might save it to the light songs. Because I found a lot of people, myself included, instead of having playlists or saving an album and listening through to an album, you just put it in your light songs and you shuffle it. You know what I mean? So, but then I think there's definitely people who have that. I wouldn't say obsession's not the right word, but have the interest to sit through. I said it's only 16 minutes. Obviously, 16 minutes in today's world is a very long time. But to sit through an entire project on an album and really take it in and to see the storyline. Obviously, I've got skits in mind. A lot of albums have skits. But to really sit down and listen to that 1 minute skit, which you get for 20 seconds in, and you think, oh, this is getting boring now. But you know what I mean? Just to sit through that. So yeah, to circle back and answer your question, I think most people shuffle. People who love the music will sit down and listen to it, start to finish. Yeah.
I think it's important to listen to it from start to finish because it was made to be listened to in a specific order.
Yeah, but you sound like you love music. So you sound like you love music. And yeah, that you have. It depends. It depends on how much you're into it. You know what I mean? How much, if your favorite artist drops, of course you can listen start to finish. So that's the whole point. That's the whole point. But then if your artist you're semi-aware of, and because of the world we live in, so much music comes out. So you have instead of having, say 20, 30 years ago, you have your top big three. When they drop an album, you're going to go to the vinyl, so you're going to go get the CD. And then, of course, if you're buying the CD, you pay the tenner for it, or $10, $20, whatever it is in the States. you pay the money, so you're gonna sit down, you're gonna go put it in your system, you're gonna listen to the whole thing. But now
And you can't shuffle a CD.
you can't exactly. But now music's consumed. I mean, everyone. I'm 21. Most people I know that are my age, they find the music through TikTok. So you're finding your music through these 15-second videos. And because there's so much music, you have the choice, rather than having your top three, say, I don't know, Kanye, Tyler Kweli, and Jay-Z, you have your top three, and then every single thing they drop, you listen to it from start to finish. You have the option to be somewhat semi-invested in 1,000 artists, 1,000 different artists.
Yeah.
But obviously that's an exaggeration, but you can have 100 favorite artists and you can just semi-listen to them, you know? So yeah, it's interesting.
How do you make your music stand out with all the music being released today?
I think the USP I try and follow is, as a producer, and based on my background, because I grew up listening to everything. So when I get an artist in the studio, it's more so looking at, what do you make now? What's your strengths? Whether that's your lyricism, your delivery, etc. How can I use my production to change the context and how what you're doing as a vocalist is perceived? You know, because one thing I've gathered is a big part of remixing tracks as a producer. You realize that the way the vocal is perceived is entirely based on the context of the instrumental. So if you've got even when I work with Skepta, the whole premise behind that was you have these somewhat hardcore grime tunes, these rap tunes, where the lyrics are they sound greasy, but then when you flip it and you put it on a guitar instrumental, or you put it on a softer instrumental, this whole different perception of the track comes out. You're hearing that, oh yeah, that bar, that's actually a deep bar. It's got a lot of meaning to it, you know? So I think my way of standing out is, taking something that already exists and finding a way to change how it's perceived and how it's consumed through the context of production.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it's a bit cliche, but I'm trying.
Is it weird to go from helping somebody else with their music to working on your own?
Definitely. I think as a producer, you have to beg. You're begging. That's the issue. You're begging because you're making the beats. You love the music. You're sending it out. It's like every artist has 5 different producers. Or now, because of YouTube, infinite producers you can get beats from. You can get beats easy. So the commodity of an instrumental isn't as valuable as it used to be 20 years ago. And when you're doing the regular route of a producer, you're sending beats, whether you're doing an email, you're building a relationship with the artist, and you're just hoping that it gets used. And even when it gets used, most of the time you're not going to get the splits you deserve. You're going to get your 2%.
Yeah.
Might get you $500 or whatever, and you go on your way. But releasing it myself, I'm not waiting. I can just, as long as I got the tune, I can put it out, get clear and put it out. I'm not waiting. And it's like even in terms of the track list, you have much more freedom. It's so much more freeing to put out your own music and working as your own artist with another artist in collaboration, rather than, as I said, just begging and waiting.
So what would you tell artists they could do better when working with a producer?
I don't know, because producers are annoying. Producers are annoying people, are very annoying people. But what would I say? Just lock in with one rather than going around the houses. Just get one and build with one. That's easier because then the business is easier. Every artist has been through a takedown or some sort of conflict with the producer because you haven't paid for the beat, or the producer doesn't believe they've got what they deserve. So just lock in with one and just keep it clean, keep your business clean. That's it. On a creative front, like away from the business side, I'd say it's just having an open ear. So when a producer recommends something, you're not straight away going, oh, no, don't tell me what to do, don't tell me what to do. That's the one piece of advice I can give. And for me, in terms of all the artists I've worked with, the ones who are open to, even if you don't do it, you just listen and there's a dialogue. That's to be an open dialogue. At the end of the day, it's a collaborative effort, you know.
Hmm. That's good advice. To find one and work well with them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm trying. Like I said, I'm trying.
Before I ask the last question today, was there anything else that you wanted to mention or talk about?
Not really. Not really. Just yeah, RYDERHOOD 2 out now. We got more music coming soon. We got RYDERHOOD 3 on the way, and then after that, maybe the album.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so our last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
Oh, soundtrack of my life. Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. That whole album is a soundtrack of my life. I'm sure as I get older, there's many songs. I mean, as I have gotten older from being a child to my early adulthood, there's a lot of songs that didn't resonate with me, and that now I listen to them. You know, I've had my heart broken. I can listen to certain songs. I can, oh, that's what you were saying. So I'm sure, in terms of the soundtrack of my life, that's something I'll grow. It's an album that I feel like I can grow with. You know.
I love that you just knew it right away.
Yeah, I think about these things. I try and think about these things, trying to be conscious and aware.
Not everybody does.
Yeah, but then at the same time, if you ask me, what's my top favorite 5 songs of all time, I'll be sat here for 30 minutes thinking, oh, is it that one? Is it that one? Is it that one? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like it's hard to choose a favorite song of all time because I feel like it changes so frequently.
I think the question, when I want to figure out someone's favorite song, the question I don't ask, oh, what's your favorite song? Because as soon as you ask that, you put them on the spot. And they're like, oh, I don't know, might be this one, might be this one. If you ask them, right, you get a notification on your phone, and it's an alert saying that in 3 minutes, a missile's going to hit, a nuclear missile's going to hit, and we're all going to die. What song are you listening to in that last 3 minutes of your life?
Ooh.
That's where I asked that. Because that's the most, instead of getting what's trendy now, they're always going to give the answer of the song that means the most to them, whether that was a song that dad played when I was a child, or the song they perceived to be the most beautiful, the most meaningful. That's the question I asked. That gets it out instantly.
I wouldn't even know what song to pick. That's a hard question.
You disprove my little theory that you get the thing straight away, you get the answer straight away.
So for all of our listeners who want to stay updated on you, hear your music that's out, hear the music that will be out soon, where can they find you?
They can find me Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Instagram. If it's got a .com at the end of it, I'm probably there. Just search Ryder, RYDERHOOD, RYDERHOOD, hashtag in front of it usually. Shout me.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Have a nice rest of your day.
All right. Peace, love, and respect. Bye-bye.
All I wanted was some peace of mind beside my pint, yeah. I can't do a thing without you running gums. Mr. Bus and Mr. Trains, I guess I need a ride, yeah. London rinse me clean, I need a savings fund. No dinner date for my love, I'm down. I'll make it up to you when I can. Been in a day since an ultrasound. I heard my name before I was out. I could either be cleaning diners or be off or go tuck my diamonds. Make a choice, it's not hard to fight it. Hate a person is filled with doubt in the papers.